to do a video on how to get started in concert photography. Now, when you first start out, you can't contact the bigger bands and try and gain access to a show because they're not even going to email you back to tell you to go stuff yourself. They're just not going to email you back. Um, and the reason for this, it's not because they want to be rude, it's because they're going to have lots of people contacting them and trying to get access to show and media applications or outlets rather. Um, and they want to know that you can do it. They don't necessarily care who you've shot before. They just want to know that you've done this before and that you've shot bands. They want to know that you can do it. But how do you get in if you don't have any work to show? And the only answer to that is you've got to start small. You've got to start locally, and that's with the local bands who are the up and comers, the guys trying to make it. So start looking at local radio stations, and that's I think where I first started. Is I went to local modern rock station's concert listing page, and I found out who was playing when and where. Same thing, there was a local record store, different bands they've got listed. So I took a list down of who's playing when, and I started going to their Facebook pages, their Bandcamp pages, MySpace, trying to find emails. And with these small bands, you're going to get their direct emails. You're not going to be, funneled through their publicist or their manager and have to jump through all these hoops. You're going to be speaking to them directly. So when you email them, be honest. Say who you are, that you're you want to cut your teeth with music photography, and tell them your experience. Don't raise expectations. Just be honest. Offer them something. They're not making much money doing what they're doing at this stage in the game, and unfortunately, you're not going to make any money either. The benefit that you're going to get out of this is you're starting a portfolio. So give them some images. Take your best, the ones that you're happy giving them. And I think the first band that I shot, I gave them the high res or full res files, and I was okay with that at the time because again, I was just starting out. I told them, use them how you will. I was just thrilled that they were allowing me to get in there. And you're supporting local music too, which is good for everybody. The more bands out there, the more you get to shoot. So, in fact, I've got to get in here and cull some of the stuff. I've got some blown out highlights, and I think I've done some better stuff since then, but who knows. So, with this band, there was 2 opening acts too that night. So I got to shoot 3 bands in one night, which was excellent. Great show all around. And you've got your foot in the door. You've just started your portfolio. So be prepared when you show up. Do lots of research. Look these bands up. See if they've got live performances on YouTube, so you know what to expect from them. You know how they're going to move on stage. If you know what venue they're going to be playing at, again, YouTube that venue. Find out how dark it is. Try and anticipate what sort of settings you're going to have to use, especially with ISO. I think I shot this whole show at 6400 ISO, and I was struggling with my shutter speed. Had I shot the show recently, I would have just jacked my ISO as high as I had to get the shutter speed that I needed, in conjunction with my aperture, which I believe was 2.8 for this show. So yeah, be prepared. Act appropriately. Don't go in as a fan with the camera. You're there to work. Conduct yourself in a professional manner. Don't get in fans' way. Sometimes it's inevitable. You're gonna to get a shot. You're gonna be in somebody's way. Most of the time, the fans are good with it. They're gonna get out of the way without even asking. But don't find a spot and camp in front of them, because there's no photographer pits here. You're in with the crowd. You're shooting stage left, stage right, what have you. Just be cognizant of your surroundings and just overall situational awareness. So you got your first show, you're doing some local bands, you're building a little bit of a portfolio. Put your stuff on Facebook, a blog, a website, whatever you can. You know, you gotta have a place to put your work. So you could start canvassing bigger acts, email them. I think my step up was Big Sugar after I did a bunch of local bands. And I went right to their contact page and I looked up their publicist, who was Mavis Harris. And again, I told him, you know, I'm relatively new in the game. Here's a link to my work. This is what I can do, and I'd love to be able to come to the Big Sugar show and shoot. So they sent me an email back saying you're on the guest list +1, and again, I had more work to shoot. And every show is going to be a learning experience. And you know, I'm by no means some great rock and roll photographer. I don't have any Rolling Stones covers, and I learn something new every single show I do. And I have a show tomorrow night, and I'm going to learn something new from that. And it's all in a pursuit to become a better photographer. So, you know, again, I've got two more bands to shoot, more stuff to put in a portfolio here, and more work to show people. And from there, I started looking around to find out how I can get more access to shows. And through a classmate at my photography school, I found out about this website called Concert Addicts, and they're essentially a concert website, and they take on contributors to shoot shows. So I emailed them and said, again, hey, this is who I am. I gave them a link to my website. This is what I do, and they took me on as a contributor. Now, you're not going to get paid for this sort of work. Again, I don't suspect that this guy is making too much money, but the benefit to this is you're going to get more shows under your belt. You're going to get your name out there. You're going to get bigger venues. Even if you're still doing the same bars and halls that you were shooting before, which is great, I love doing those places, you're going to get more of them because these people, they're contacting the bands for you, and they're, you know, if they're established, they're going to be considered an accredited media outlet. So you're going to get into all these shows. The thing to keep in mind here is that you need to retain your copyrights, and these guys are great for that. The only stipulation is once I shoot a show, I have 48 hours to upload the music to the website, and or upload the photos to the show, and only the ones that I'm happy with sharing. And if I put it on Facebook, I've just got to put a link to Concert Addicts and saying this is who I was shooting for. Nothing big. But if the band contacts them, they just redirect them to me, and I deal with the band, and we negotiate a price for the photos. And list of contributors. Here I am. And it's again, it's another stepping stone. And you know, this is where I am now, and I think I've had one picture published in a local magazine, but you know, eventually I hope to get into bigger magazines, and you know, to get my name out there. But you know, I'm still climbing the ladder myself, and we all got to start somewhere. And this is my experience. This is what I've done, and it's worked. And how fast you want to go up, and it's entirely up to you. You know, don't just shoot the music that you want to shoot. Shoot everything, and do your research with the bands, and you know, be a good photographer. And what I mean is not just good pictures, but again, it goes back to conducting yourself in a professional manner, and it's all going to come together, and it's going to work out. So I'm getting dangerously close to the 10-minute mark here. So if you have any more questions in regards to concerts, let me know. Put in the comments section. If there's something else that you want to hear about, I can do a video on that as well. Particular questions about what I've done and how you can do it, just feel free to contact me, and I'd be happy to either talk to you or make a video on it. Alright, well, that's it for now. Take care.